Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jet Setting Cruise review. Today we're checking out my cruise on the Liberty of the Seas. It's a Royal Caribbean Freedom class ship that was sailing out of Galveston, Texas on a 7-night voyage down to Roatan, Honduras, Costa Maya, Mexico, and Cozumel, Mexico. So let's check out the full experience. I started my trip in Phoenix, Arizona, flying Southwest today. I still get access to the Centurion Lounge with my Amex Platinum card, so it's good for any airline, which is really great. Got some free cocktails as well as some free lunch. Always a nice stop at the Centurion Lounge in Phoenix. I had a little bit of a later boarding group in the deep B's for Southwest, unfortunately, but did get a back row aisle seat and landed in Austin without delay. So I landed in Austin because I'm traveling on this cruise with my father, who lives in Austin, and we drove down to Galveston straight from the airport, about a 3-hour drive from the Austin airport. One restaurant I was really excited to try in Galveston is Guido's, and it's been around since 1911, as you can see from the floor. We had some awesome grilled oysters as well as some awesome Gulf shrimp, blackened, really fantastic place if you're coming in for a cruise. Definitely recommend that. Can also recommend the Hilton. I'll be posting a video to the channel shortly about the full tour of the Hilton Galveston Resort. So it is technically a resort. It's right next to a rainforest cafe that actually has a river adventure ride. The Landry's owner, Fertitta, owns pretty much this whole strip of Galveston, but you have some awesome ocean views from the room as well as a cool resort style pool with a swim up bar. So good way to get your vacation started early. This sailing started on a Sunday, so we had Saturday night in Galveston to go grab dinner and explore a little bit. But really pretty day in Galveston, low humidity, which is pretty rare. So we were excited to get on board, and from our hallway on the top floor of the Hilton, we could see that the ship had pulled in, which is always a good sight. So we chose the Hilton because they had a decent parking deal, so we could park our car in the parking lot of one of their sister hotels. They had a shuttle to the port. It was about an extra $60 on top of our one-night room rate for that, so pretty good. So bus picked us up right on time. They run on a schedule. They have 3 pickup times in the morning. Dropped us right off at Cruise Ship Terminal 2, which is where our ship was departing from. Royal Caribbean is about to open a brand new terminal that is just theirs in Galveston. So if you're watching this video and you're traveling after November 2022, you'll be departing from that terminal. But it was still fun to get in here, 11 a.m. group. Between dropping off our luggage at the porter to getting onto the ship, it only took us 30 minutes. So very efficient process, and everyone in the port was super nice. So I can definitely recommend the port experience in Galveston compared to other ports out there. A quick plug here, if you like these types of videos, if you love cruising, please subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of cruise ship tours on there. I also have a full cruise ship tour of the Liberty of the Seas. So if you're interested more in what the ship looks like, you have a nice 30-minute long video there on the channel. So check it out, and really appreciate all the views and comments on my channel over the years. So the Port of Galveston is actually a pretty fun port to depart from. So you have some great views, especially on the day that we departed. We ended up getting the drink package on board. They were running a 25% off per person special, so ended up mathing out correctly, I think, for us for our voyage, and we ended up coming out ahead on that. So it ended up being a great decision. So you have the view of Galveston Island, which is a surprisingly big island. It's only about an hour away from Houston if you're flying in there. One kind of weird thing though is if you are drinking alcoholic beverages in the Port of Galveston or up to 12 miles from shore, you have a special menu that's only for Texas departures. Basically the Texas Alcohol Commission requires all beverages on board in their ports to be purchased from Texas, so they have cheaper alcohol and just kind of a different menu there until you get out to sea, so just keep that in mind. But here is our oversized ocean view cabin. We were pretty excited about the size of this one. Just 2 of us in the cabin, so we had plenty of space. We had a lot of scuba gear. Since this voyage, we were scuba diving in every single port. But we had plenty of room for all of that and more. So this cabin was, perfectly adequate for us. Plenty of hanging space there for any of your hanging closed for formal nights. There were one official formal night on board this voyage, and then one dress your best night. Nothing really particularly strict on board like the cruising days of yore, but it's nice to look nice and just try and fit in on board. So we don't have a balcony cabin there, but do have the extension of the other balcony cabins in front of our window. There's a look at some of the gold benefits on board. This is going to be one of my last gold cruises. I'm almost up to platinum here. And by this time we were pretty hungry, so we went and checked out the Windjammer for lunch. Still had some great views of Galveston, hadn't departed just yet. Went and did our muster drill, which is all pretty much through the app now. You have to go physically visit the muster station as well. And then we started taking a look around the ship a little bit, and before you knew it, we were off and ready to go. One cool thing is that we actually kind of backed out of the channel here and then turned around near the new Royal Caribbean terminal. I do really love watching the pilot boats work up against the cruise ship and seeing the pilot jump off and return home. So that was pretty cool. There was a parade going on in the promenade that I hadn't seen before. That was pretty cool. And then it was time for our first trivia of many on the cruise. I'm a big trivia player, so we always make sure to try and make it to that. And before you knew it was time to eat again. So we checked out the main dining room this evening. Overall, we were very, very impressed with all the food on board, especially in the main dining room. The wild mushroom soup is like one of my favorite things on the planet, so I was always excited to see that first night. Also opted for some escargot. So delicious escargot on board. That's available every single night, as well as this strip steak. So I really enjoyed that. Got that a few nights, and then had the creme brulee for dessert. And then we went around, played a little bit in the casino, and woke up the next morning a little late for breakfast, so we went and had some brunch in the main dining room. So on sea days, this is open for guests to dine and have a more elegant experience in the Windjammer. I really love doing that a couple times a cruise if I can. So overall, food quality still holding up pretty well here. I had the nice chicken sandwich. I also was testing out the new iPhone 14 here, and really loved all the camera features on board. So this day was really dedicated to just exploring the ship, having some fun. Went and climbed a little bit on the rock climbing wall, went down some water slides. And then here is Chop's Grill. This is one of the specialty dining options on board. We booked this beforehand to save a little bit of money. You get a nice bread course, you get an appetizer, a soup, and then a main course and a dessert. Since we had the beverage package, all the beverages were included because we weren't going over that $13 per drink maximum. So I had the butternut squash soup here as my starter soup. Delicious, great flavor. My dad had I believe it was the lobster bisque. Then I had the steak. Really good steak, definitely higher quality than what you get in the main dining room. But ultimately, I feel like the steak in the main dining room is not really any worse, and probably not necessarily worth the premium to upgrade to Chop's Grill. Now later in the cruise, we did end up going to Giovanni's, which you'll see later in the video, and I had the steak and shrimp there, and felt like it was a good deal. So we had El Gaucho as the entertainment that evening. He was hilarious. Woke up the next morning and had some more food, of course. It was really a nice day at sea here before we arrived into Roatan, Honduras, but really loved my plantains. I love seeing that on the menu. So yeah, we definitely loved the main dining room for lunch on those sea days. And then didn't really get much footage of the rest of the day, so we're going to skip ahead to dinner here at Giovanni's. So we ordered the antipasti, got some appetizers, some pastas on the side, just a smaller portion, and then got some mains. So antipasti was excellent. Had some good cheeses, some pickled veggies. And then I had the smoked pork belly, which is this fancy bacon. It was amazing. Some ahi right there, really fantastic. And then I had the surf and turf there. Really encouraged to order a lot here versus I think at Chops Grill. So I like the service a lot more. At Giovanni's, like the feel a little bit more casual. Ossobuco was definitely a highlight. So of course, a ton of food at the Italian restaurant. Definitely a fancier option than say your Olive Gardens, etc. So definitely worth trying it on board. Tiramisu to top it all off was really delicious. So overall, a really fun time and great to see the ship at night as well. So we went to bed early and then headed out early the next morning as we came into port in Roatan, Honduras. So I really do love getting down all the way to Central America. You can see the mainland from Roatan, but it's a completely different culture than the mainland of Honduras. Lots of expats, lots of great dives, so a lot of people come down if they're just obsessed with diving and stay for a while or even move, have second homes. So really a beautiful island, really fun place to visit, and definitely my most excited port for me on this voyage was Roatan. So beautiful ride in as we went to Cozumel, which is the port. Really loved the whole experience with everyone welcoming us as we docked. The port area was really pretty. I liked how it was, still touristy and obviously geared towards cruise ship tourists, but felt like it was more of a local feel and felt like it was potentially there before, even though I know it wasn't. But I like this one a little bit more than other ports that I've disembarked from. So we arranged our scuba diving through Sun Divers. They had a driver for us right at the port. It took us about 20 minutes to get over to the dive shop. It's located in the west end on Roatan, beautiful beach right here. So awesome after the dive to be able to go grab a drink on the beach, grab some food as well. A quick reminder here is to always make sure that you have the right time. The ship's time was different than Roatan's time, and these people sprinting to the boat are actually about 45 minutes late. So the ship was nice enough to wait for them, but they definitely got some jeers and some sarcastic claps from the passengers already on board. So just make sure you know the right time before you disembark on a cruise vacation. So this voyage we had 3 ports in a row. So we're heading to Costa Maya tomorrow. Decided to have just the main dining room for dinner that evening. Had the French onion soup, which is available each evening. French onion soup was really good flavor. I forgot to take a picture of my entree, but it was the steak again and had a delicious dessert there. Watched the show that evening and then headed out to Costa Maya that morning. So this was my second time in Costa Maya. It's definitely my least favorite port I've ever been to. I was excited to dive though because the water and the snorkeling is pretty good. So we were, I had an open mind. Though the port area and having to spiral through all the shops and just something that was purposely built only for cruise ships, really hate that. But a quick little $8 per person ride over to the dive shop near Mahawal and near the old lighthouse has a little bit more of an authentic feel. But really pretty views. Obviously the water is great here, so no complaints there. Did another 2 dives with the dive shop here. It's a little different than Roatan. Kind of smaller boats, a little bit more choppy weather. It's a lot windier here, so we love the underwater views, but the kind of surface level stuff was a little bit more annoying. But we did have an awesome beach lunch after the dive before heading back to the ship. Here's a quick look at how the port looks around the ships. They have a ton of shops, lots of touristy things like a tequila factory, which isn't really a factory. They have a little aviary that you actually walk above the shops, which I think is actually kind of cool. But you have some free views like these awesome flamingos, really pretty right there. So that's probably the highlight for me of the Costa Maya area. They do have a swim-up bar, and they have a huge kind of resort-style pool there if you don't want to leave sight of the ship. But it kind of has a Mayan theme to this. There's really good Mayan ruins, but it's a big bus ride away. So just keep that in mind. There are options besides water here. There's also a water park that's still closed because of COVID. But yeah, overall, I think, Costa Maya, not the best port in town by any means, but you can certainly still have fun here. So next we wanted to try Sabor, which is the ship's fancy Mexican restaurant. It's a little cheaper than any other specialty restaurants. I think for good reason. I don't think that the food was particularly amazing here. There were some good dishes though, and the dessert was definitely a highlight. But if you're going on a Mexican vacation and you've had like a lot of good authentic Mexican food, this is probably going to be a disappointment to you. Afterwards, we checked out the ice skating show, which is a really unique thing on Royal Caribbean. I try not to miss these because I think they're really awesome. So you can make reservations on the app. They do get busy, but they do have a waiting list outside the theater. So if you miss that reservation, I feel like there's always going to be room for at least a few people to get into the ice skating show. But before we knew it, it was time to visit Cozumel, which is a classic cruise port. Fantastic water, some of the best diving in the entire world. So it's a really popular port for many reasons. A lot of people go over to the mainland, go see Chichen Itza, or go to Xcaret, which is a really fun time. But we were diving today, dove Palancar Gardens, and another dive site. Had some great views of the ship heading out to the dive site. So really, really enjoyed our time here, and I'll leave you to look at some of the views. So that's it for all the ports on this voyage. We had one more sea day heading back to Galveston. I'll just speak briefly. I think the ship was really great. Definitely needs a little bit of a dry dock. I think there's some areas that don't really detract from the experience, but need a little bit of TLC. Like that screen right there needs to be fixed. And the flow rider, needs to be open fully. But overall, really enjoyed our time on Liberty of the Seas. Disembarkation was super easy and quick. We were in our car driving back to Austin pretty quickly. So thanks a lot for watching our cruise, and we hope to see you on the next one.